started out with carriages. My wife and I had it as a hobby. And when we were a little bit younger, we competed in a whole array of carriage competitions and concluded with the Devon Horse Show. We've won the Devon Horse Show on several occasions back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I would tell you all our events are my favorite event, but I still have a very soft spot in my heart for the coaching division. People come as volunteers. We have almost 2,000 volunteers, and these are generational volunteers for the most part. So depending upon where in the spectrum you are, there's something here, as I say, for everybody. It was Ladies' Hat Day. Ladies do this the Wednesday of each show year, and today was that day. We had a wonderful weather to have them have their hat show. They come from far and wide. They are fully dressed in a variety of outfits, unbelievable hats. The hats are judged, and then they conclude their morning hours with a ladies' luncheon, and they then go shop and enjoy the competition of the day. And as I said, we've just had a marvelous day for it with the weather this year. Today, we started our saddlebred classes, and they're always very interesting. We had our side saddle classes a little bit earlier during about the noon hour. We're going to be transitioning to our coaching class in a few minutes here. And then this evening, we are in our second day of what we call the open jumping classes. They're the FEI, USEF classes. To the average person, you may not know what that means, but I will tell you we have 5 Olympians that are competing head-to-head at 7 o'clock from Tuesday through Saturday night. Of course, we have the Clydesdales joining us on Thursday and Saturday evenings. So at any given moment, there's something very special going on in the rings. And the highlight of the Grand Prix is the Olympians that come in. And I might add that a lot of these Olympians are queuing up to head out to Europe after the Devon Horse Show. One thing about Devon and this whole community is it's very patriotic. We recognize it, we honor it, and we certainly support it in any way we can.
So this is what's called a road coach. So it was built in 1890 in London, England. The seat next to the driver is called the box seat. And so it was the most expensive seat. Like there were coaching clubs founded in Philadelphia and in New York. And those clubs were started mostly in the late 1800s. But, you know, they did trips to racetracks and they did things like that. And then that group of people included like Vanderbilt, Roosevelt's, a whole sort of, you know, upper class. Then there was a group that were more like commercial people, and they would be making deliveries into the city or around the city, delivering ice or delivering vegetables or whatever. And so there was a second group of people that drove carriages and coaches. And then the third group was people like myself that sort of met someone who was in one of the other two groups and then got involved because of making a friendship with someone that was already involved. To do it, you really have to have a farm because you have to have, I would say, a minimum of 5 horses because you use 4, so you need to have at least 1 spare horse. I mean, we actually have 9. But some of that is also age, you know, because if you're gonna, you know, at some point some are getting older, so then you're buying ones that are younger and trying to get them integrated into the process. So I'd say most people that are doing it have, you know, a minimum of 5, and probably more. Many people like myself would have more than that, and they would be kept on the farm, and you know, they would be used and trained. But they wouldn't really use the coaches so much on the farm. They would have other vehicles. And then the vehicles themselves, of course, have to be, you know, maintained. They have oil. They're lubricated by oil. So that cover, when that comes off, there's basically a piece of leather that gets soaked in oil. And that's the lubrication for the wheel. The coaches that were there like in the before that, 1850, 1840, earlier, those would have been the state coaches. And they didn't have all of this metal work underneath. They literally had leather straps. So the equivalent of this part of the coach was attached to the frame by leather straps. So if you see, these old Western movies, you see them bouncing up and down a lot. That's because they're just literally attached by leather straps. And so whereas this has big springs on it, it has these springs, and then it has springs going the other way. So this is the maker's name here, Cowland and Selby, and they were located in London. This is a pouch that could carry mail if you had mail, but it would carry papers. These are the ones like those are raincoats, like in case you get caught in the rain. This is a very old leather case for carrying. Such a carries like a hat like this inside it. See, this is basically spare parts, spare pieces of leather for the harness, spare ropes for the lead lines for the horses, a jack if you had to jack up the wheels, extra bridles, a tool kit. So this has all the extra horseshoes, and I think many of the people that are doing it are definitely open to trying to help other people who want to do it.
My name's Phil Thomas. I've been the assistant bugler at Churchill Downs Racetrack in Louisville, Kentucky for the past 17 years. And it's my first time here, and I'm loving it. It's an honor to be involved in this very historic horse show. What has impressed me the most, the atmosphere, the history of just the facility. The old wooden stands and the country fair atmosphere, I think it's unique for any horse show I've ever played at or experienced. Sunday night was very thrilling, and the old antique carriages fascinated me. And of course, the Shetland pony races, I think, were the cutest thing I'd ever seen in my life. People always assume, as the Churchill Downs bugler, that I'm a horse person, but I'm really not. It's everything I see is fascinating to watch. Most horse shows I play, they kind of give me liberty to play whatever I want. If I can find a tune that fits the actual event, like for the Shetland pony races, I played If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands. I got the whole audience clapping and everything. For usually big stakes races, I'll play We're in the Money, da-bum-ba-dum-bum. And I like doing lots of service songs too. Yesterday being Memorial Day, they were particularly appropriate, but I'll always throw some service songs and patriotic songs in as well. I recommend coming on multiple days if possible. And, I don't know if some people may just come for an afternoon, like spend the whole day, because there's such a wide variety of events and there's so much to see and booths to visit. And the food is fantastic. The food is fantastic. Well, I started playing trumpet in my 4th grade band. And anyone that plays the trumpet can play the bugle. In fact, my instrument is officially a trumpet because it has valves. But out at Churchill Downs, I play the official Churchill Downs bugle, which has no valves and is a traditional long bugle. In fact, both sides of my family, for generations back, are from central Pennsylvania. So in a way, it feels like I'm coming home. And I'm very glad to be here.